In this video, we are going to explain you what is GSTR-3 and its filing process. When both buyer and seller approves, GSTR-3 is generated along with payment of taxes. GSTR-3 needs to be filed by every taxpayer except compounding taxpayer and ISD. It is required to be filed by 20th of the succeeding month. In the online process, first you have to log in at GST portal. After successfully login, you can see your dashboard. Then you have to click on service menu and opt for returns. There you can select any of the options given above. By clicking on turnover details, you can find all the details related to it, namely gross turnover, export turnover, nil rated and exempted domestic turnover, non-GST turnover, net taxable turnover. Outward supplies section will show you the following details: inter and intra-state supplies to registered taxpayers and consumers, exports, revision of invoices, total tax liability on outward supplies. Inward supplies will show you the following details: inter and intra-state supplies received, imports, revision of invoices, tax liability, ITC reversal. Total tax liability section shows the details of total tax liability for the month. By clicking on TDS credit, you can see the details of TDS credit received during the month. Tax paid section shows you the details of tax, fine and penalty paid during the period. When you will file GSTR-3, you have to fill certain details like turnover details, which includes deemed exports, exempted turnover, etc. Details of outward supplies like interstate supplies to registered person like rate of tax, taxable value, etc. Details of intrastate supplies to registered person like rate of tax, value, etc. Details of tax effect of amendments for outward supplier in case of interstate supply and intrastate supply like rate, amount of tax, etc. Details of inward supplies on which tax is payable on reverse charge basis like rate of tax, amount of tax, etc. Tax effect of amendment in respect of supplies attracting reverse charge like rate of tax, amount of tax, etc. Details of input tax credit like description, taxable value, amount of tax, etc. Details of output tax when addition and reduction is done during mismatch like description, amount of tax, etc. Detail of total tax liability like rate of tax, taxable value, etc. Details of credit of TDS and TCS like amount of tax. Details of interest liability like output liability, total interest liability, etc. Details of late fee like CGST, SGST, etc. Details of the amount of tax payable and amount of tax paid like tax payable, paid in cash, tax paid, etc. Details of interest, late fee and other amounts payable and paid like amount payable and paid, etc. Details of refund claimed from electronic cash ledger like description, debit entry numbers, etc. Details of debit entries in electronic cash credit ledger of tax, interest payment like tax paid in cash, tax paid through ITC, etc. To know more on GST, please refer to other videos by LegalRaasta. You can also log on to our website www.legalraasta.com. In fact, you can get GST registration and GST filing services from LegalRaasta. CAs or accountants can use LegalRaasta software for filing GST return. Call us at 875 000 8585 for more details.